My name is Bon. I'm one of the two men from Two Man Bagel House. This project that I've been working on together with my team is called Born and Bred. It's where we feature different food and beverage business owners. So I sit down and break bread with them, getting into their minds and talking about the ins and outs of what is it like being in the industry. I hope you enjoy it. Thank you. Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Born and Bred. And today we have our lovely guests, my friends from Shuku Izakaya. Shuku is already an established brand in Singapore. They've been around since 2015. And today we get to meet the founders. We have Mario and Luis.
Hello.
I would like to start with the very simple beginning of getting to know these individuals intimately and personally. Okay, it's a customary thing for us to drink. So let's have a shot of sake first. Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers, bro. My name is Mario, by the way. Yeah, parents gave me that name. Didn't grow up happy with that early. You want to be involved. You don't want to be the outcast called Mario. Yeah, but overall, best times of my life was like 13 to 16. That's where I met him, actually.
Okay.
We were secondary school mates. And after that, we did so much things together. Personally, I have been more of a guy that's like, I love maths.
Mm-hmm.
I love food also.
Okay.
I love art also.
Okay.
I'm a nerd also.
Food, math, art, and nerd.
Yeah, a bit of everything.
True.
And drink too much though. Yeah, I was born and bred in Singapore. Born
Born and bred in Singapore. Solid.
Yeah.
So I'm Luis. So how I met Mario is during secondary school time.
Okay.
So when we were in Sec 1, then we used to play magic cards together. Then we read a lot of comic books. Then that's how we spent our time hanging out.
Okay.
Then
Which
after
secondary
that,
school was this?
we went to Hai Sing Catholic in Pasir Ris.
Hai Sing Catholic in Pasir Ris.
But the funny thing is, I got expelled.
Okay.
I got expelled. So I only spent 1 year of my time in Hai Sing Catholic.
Okay.
And because of poor conduct. So I had to change to another school. But we still remain, we kept in touch all the way. Then we hang out almost every week.
What else did you guys study in school?
I went to Temasek Poly.
Okay. Yes.
There's a course called...
Yeah, I was there too.
Okay.
Okay, there's a course called game design. It's more about programming and every time there's like programming projects, right?
Yeah.
They always put me on the animation side to do the design.
Right.
So that's where it started. I actually preferred doing graphics.
Mhm.
Like the artistic side of me started there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the whole poly was also a nerdy time because of programming.
Correct.
However, I really flung my poly so hard, right? Because I was so busy, right? Doing stuff for the student council, hosting camps, talking to girls.
Yeah.
It got more serious life got more serious when it needed more. Like my dad got bankrupt when I was like 17 or 18. So things had to be a bit more, they be more self-discipline.
Mm.
You gotta look for work and all that. So
my dad also got bankrupt when I was 12.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh, that's way back.
Yeah, it's
You
way back also.
You had it harder than me.
No,
So-
it's the same. Like, I think like any parent of like, you know, if you have any parent that went through bankruptcy, I think like it's all gonna affect us.
Yeah. It's like overnight your life do change.
Mm.
Priorities change. Then you started finding work well.
Mm.
Louis had it hard also.
Mm.
Because,
Yeah. My family got bankrupt.
Oh shit.
Yeah, and
but
my parents divorced.
He's been alone in Singapore a long time.
Mm.
So we always hang out. See, damn bored.
Mm.
Yeah.
But the most important part was he found a job.
Mm.
And it's related to F&B, Japanese dining.
Okay,
And he introduced me.
I see.
Yeah.
Mm.
And Louis, back on the question, what else did you study?
My major I went to poly as well. So
Okay.
my major is in the cyber and digital security.
Cyber and digital
Digital
security.
security.
Okay, which
Yeah, so
poly
it's-
was this?
Temasek Poly.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's also from IT school.
Mhm.
So what happens is I'm always into computer stuff.
Okay.
Yeah, and I didn't know that actually there's a software side and the hardware side.
Mm.
So what I'm interested in is actually in the hardware side. And both of us...
He built my PC.
Oh.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And we played so much Diablo 2. So much.
I was a
Those
Diablo
are
fan
early
as well.
days. Yeah.
Yeah. Then after that, I played World of Warcraft until I went to hospital.
Shit, you're one of those guys.
Yeah, that was a good
who
story.
don't sleep and just game.
Yeah,
Oh my god, yeah. But I mean, we all had that phase. Sounds to
Yeah.
me like Louis is a very independent person, being alone in Singapore,
Yeah,
like,
it's
kind
of-
since
kind of forced
very
to,
young age.
Since
and-
16.
wow.
Yeah, since 16. Yeah, so
Would you like to talk more about that? Like being independent and alone in Singapore?
I think it's just like I got forced to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Since I got forced to do that, then in order to survive, you have to do it. There's no other ways.
Okay.
So my parents got divorced and my mom got bankrupt.
Mm.
Then I stay in Singapore. Then I have to make.
Ends meet.
So even though in poly time I wasn't very hardworking because that I lost interest in cyber and security because there's a lot of coding, a lot of programming, which I really don't like it.
Mm.
But what happens is because that life is not been too good.
Yeah.
So I have to really go out and work, go to school,
Mm.
work, and maybe I really have time that we can go out and chill and play some game.
Yeah.
But the most important thing that kept us all the way, like we play together besides games, right? It's also we share mangas, like comic books,
Yeah.
and we watch anime together.
Mm.
So this is what is inbuilt in us since young that we always love Japanese stuff.
The common love.
Yeah, the common love
Mm.
about Japanese stuff. Then of course Japanese food.
Mm.
So it's the easiest to entry for the field for like us with no skills
Mm.
is F&B. So
Mm.
you just become a waiter or
Mm.
waitress or maybe someone that dishwasher.
Mm.
So my first job is working for a fine dining restaurant.
Mm.
Yeah. I
Which
was,
fine dining restaurant was this?
Hachi.
Hachi, okay.
Yeah, Hachi. So I was there. I was doing two jobs. Basically, they don't have enough manpower.
Mm.
So I have to do the waiter job
Mm.
as well as the dishwashing
Mm.
job. So I spent almost 2.5 years
Mm.
there.
Mm.
Then I finally realized that I really enjoy serving,
Mm.
communicating with the customer, understanding more about Japanese food
Mm.
and beverages.
Mm.
Then I started cooking myself, started drinking and appreciating sake.
Mm.
Then slowly we move on to our current stage. And
Wow.
during that period of time, I was working in Hachi first. Then after that, Mario joined us.
Mm.
But Mario joined us in public izakaya
Mm.
instead of Hachi.
Okay.
So during that phase, they are changing. They have a new concept.
Yep.
Yeah, from the fine dining to the casual dining.
Talking about time when you guys actually work in the Japanese restaurant where
Mm.
you guys were doing your part-time jobs, what were the things that you picked up?
Okay, first of all, the managing skills. Because I was there, I have to manage kitchen people.
Yeah.
I need to manage a customer. I need to manage my boss and also the service staff. So in order to manage all these people, sometimes there is some office politics, which is actually quite difficult. That don't teach you in school.
Yep.
Yeah. So you have to manage them through experiences. Then you got to learn, understand more from to listen more to
Yeah.
all of their requests.
People
Then-
management, I think, wouldn't you guys agree, is like one of the hardest.
Yeah, it's very, very
I can vouch for that.
Yeah, and it's a lifelong thing. It applies to your own personal
Yeah.
relationships, your friendships also.
Correct,
It's the same thing.
If you fast forward to today, how we run the shop, we have different expertise on the table.
Correct.
So I spend more time on people, human resource,
Mm.
managing welfare lives.
So you picked up a lot of people management back in the days when you were working there.
Yeah,
But
that's just one part of it.
What are
Then,
the other stuff that you guys picked up?
then other than that, it's about cooking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you actually got on the grill and like
Yeah.
Have.
But for a short period of time.
okay.
Yeah.
How is it like being behind the grill without actually having any proper culinary training or like going to school for culinary and stuff?
I think I'm very blessed and very lucky that most of the Japanese chefs seem to be very fierce.
Mm.
But
And you guys were working with
Japanese,
real Japanese chefs.
yeah, real Japanese
Mm.
chefs.
So we were very lucky. Those were defining catalysts for today's success. The Japanese chef that we met in our previous jobs
Mhm.
really taught us the ropes, shared us the culture,
Okay.
like izakaya culture.
Mm.
We were humbled, I think.
Okay.
I think I feel like it's in our blood as well because I really feel that we are izakaya boys.
Mm.
Because when you go to Japan, you will see the izakaya boys, right? It's quite different one.
Mm.
Yeah, it's quite different one. So that's why.
Can you elaborate on this difference? Sorry.
They are like very casual. It's like super casual. It's
Mm.
like even though you are a customer, but
Yeah.
every single customer is like a friend. You know this person, then you and most of the time is regular base. Then you chit chat with them, you listen to them talk about their work and all this kind of stuff. But I work in other restaurants as well.
Maybe you should let the people know how we met.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. How we met? Basically, like we were in the same trade. We met when I set up the bagel shop. You know,
We were neighbors.
And you
Yeah,
guys
we are
came,
neighbors.
you guys came by as like you were neighbors, and like you guys came
Yeah.
by as customers also, and that's how we really met and got to know each other over a period of time, and we connected. You know, I think
Yeah,
it was
we-
also because like
We were brick buddies.
Yeah, we share smoke breaks. We share, I guess, similar aspirations and interest and love in the passion of what we do.
Mm.
So which is really cool.
Yes, we're fortunate that I met you and Jerome.
I really want to speak about this person. His name is Fabian, and I know this guy. Even when I was setting up the bagel shop, I went up to him to ask him for just advice when it comes to running a business.
Yeah.
I think like what he told me that I will still hold dearly to heart
Yeah.
from the day we spoke was that like you gotta make sure it's worth your time, like even setting up a business and the purpose of doing it. You know what I mean? So how do you guys how would you guys describe the relationship, the experience you had while working with Fabian?
Fabian is really my mentor. He taught me a
Same.
lot of things, especially in the F&B field. And I really respect him because that he's really on the ball. And also at the same time that he's working together with all the other staff. Usually people will feel that, oh, maybe this person is a director or maybe he's a boss. He will just like do other stuff.
Yeah.
But he will go to the shop almost every day. And he will really overlook the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think that is really deserve a lot of respect.
The grit, his hard work, even at his age with whatever he has established,
Yeah.
Shout out to Fabian from Public Izakaya Hachi Group.
Yeah, it's truly inspiring.
Yeah.
He
Even
was.
a lot of things that I do today or he do today is motivated by his style.
And he will always go to Japan and look for new ideas. He wants to improve. He wants to bring the culture, the food, the authentic Japanese izakaya food back to Singapore. So this is what we carry on as well. So that's why we will go to Japan like twice a year minimum.
Yep.
Besides sourcing for sake, and at the same time also source for better ideas and go and learn about what is the new trend
Yep.
in izakaya, and of course at the same time to really sit down in different type of izakayas in Japan just by sitting there to experience
to soak in everything.
Yeah,
right?
to soak
the
in.
very little fine details all matter.
Yes. Just
Yeah.
like go to different izakaya, you just sit down, then you just feel it. Then you want to bring the whole culture back to Singapore.
I absolutely agree
Yeah.
because I did that like prior to setting up the bagel shop where I just set up bagel shops around the world just to
Yeah.
soak in the atmosphere and like try to learn just by visually looking at
Yes.
things
Yeah,
and stuff.
sure.
Because even though you can create the food, or maybe you can have the same brand of sake, but it's the feel, the whole general experience.
Yeah.
It's very difficult for you to imitate.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, to copy and paste and put it in Singapore. The only way is you have to go there and only you can understand
Right.
what it is, and you bring that back to Singapore, and you want to pass on to the people that love Japanese food and love Japanese culture. lah.
Yeah, I can see the DNA flowing through like even a new brand like Shuku,
I think we're really thankful for what opportunity he given us. He definitely worked closer with Fabian when the second shop opened.
Yeah.
Public Izakaya too.
Yeah.
Your neighbor lah. And I was just assisting him.
Okay.
But that second shop, right, actually allowed us to understand how is it that when nobody's there to help you, how can we help each other, bring the best out of each other, right? To hold the fort.
Right.
And that's Fabian's opportunity. We will never forget it.
Talk about Shuku. Tell us what Shuku means, man. For those who don't already know,
Okay, how we get this name from Shuku? So this is like kanji. So shu means alcohol. Ku, there's two meaning in Japan. One means the sky, which also means paradise. It also means empty. So how does Shuku comes along is because that personally we feel that izakaya is a place for people to empty their thoughts, to really enjoy,
Distressed.
to distress after a really hard day of working, like maybe got scolded by boss or maybe screw up some things here and there. They just want to come here, then you just feel that this is home.
Like a sanctuary to unwind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is home. So after a few drinks,
Yeah.
you are empty.
Mm-hmm.
The glass
so
is
this,
empty.
the glass is empty, and of course your thoughts and every single thing is empty. So you feel very comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is one meaning of it. The other meaning is that we love sake.
Yeah.
We are all specialized in sake. Even though for now,
Mm.
one restaurant we have 5 sake sommeliers.
Yep.
Yeah, just in one restaurant. And we want to make sure that every single customer is got attended by a sake sommelier.
Correct.
So they can understand more about sake.
Mm.
It's not about just making sake, but you are drinking the soul of the toji. The toji is like how much he put in the effort to make this particular sake. It's not just making sake. It's not just like that. It's a heart. So we
Yeah,
want people to feel. Yeah, we want people to feel that.
Right.
Yeah. So Shuku, the alcohol paradise.
Alcohol
So the-
paradise.
Alcohol paradise. So
Anything
these
to
two
add for that?
Oh, when we chose the brand, I was doing the design of the branding.
He's,
So,
he's
actually-
good.
Before we even opened this shop, man, we've been drinking so much. So, in case people that's watching this don't know what is a shochu,
Yeah.
not the Korean one, the Japanese one.
Mm.
Please explain as well.
Yeah, spelled as SHOCHU.
Yes.
That's actually the hard liquor of Japan.
Mm.
It's like 26% alcohol.
Mm.
But instead of, in comparison to vodka, probably mostly made by potato.
Mhm.
Shochu is made from sweet potato, barley.
Mm.
They usually drink it on the
Sugarcane.
rocks. Seldom they do mixes.
Yep.
At most they mix with tea and some
Yep.
soda.
Mm.
So shochu has a brand. There's so many brands in Japan. Actually, this is something. If you want to talk about shochu and sake, the two main alcohol of Japan, not including the beer and highball stuff, but the shochu and sake. Shochu actually never had a chance to enter the competitive market.
Mm.
A lot of people in the world don't really know what shochu is.
Mm.
So that's why in Singapore, people would rather drink sake than shochu.
Right.
In Japan, when you're talking about izakaya, after work, you're talking about salarymen wearing their suit and their briefcase, they actually drink shochu more than sake.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
I love that drink. And back in when we were working for Fabian, we were really drinking that.
Mm.
Then there's this brand, very popular, as all their labels have the word cool at the second.
Okay.
Kong,
Ah.
which is sky.
Mm.
Yeah. So that's the inspiration start of this brand.
Mm.
Jiku,
Jiku-
Uku,
Jinku,
yeah, Uku,
Goku.
Goku,
Yeah.
Mm,
Kong.
Wow.
Mm.
Very
So,
interesting story.
yeah, and we always felt that shochu is something that will always be an unsung hero
Correct.
in the Japanese Hall of Fame of culture. And even until today,
Right.
I still drink a lot of shochu
Okay.
before going to bed, kind of thing. Yeah. So that was what I want to add on to the branding.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
this is what we have decided. Then after that, moving on to how does the logo come out is
Right.
that we actually
Mm.
we found someone in Japan to just write
Calligraphy.
calligraphy.
Mm.
So we had 50 shu, 50 jiu, and 50 ku, 50 kong.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's hardcore.
Then we just like take everything that
Yeah.
we puzzle together. It's like,
Then I
okay, how about this?
digitalize
Yeah,
the
then
best
we digitalize
combo.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's the brand.
So there's actual calligraphy done by Japanese.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
Nice.
But that, choosing the English wording for the name
Mhm.
may not be the best choice.
Why not?
You can search our brand on Google Translate. Right?
Yeah.
It's actually sake soda,
Yeah.
which means
Sake
sake for
soda.
sky.
Sora, Sora,
Yeah.
Soda.
Sora,
Oh, okay.
Sora.
It's in Japanese grammar, right?
I mean, sky is not too bad to be associated to, right? Like,
It's not. It's definitely not. So that's why even Japan's culture is a lot about nature.
Yeah.
So it's a win-win also.
Yeah.
To have Sky be part of our brand.
Yeah,
So we
I
still
think-
love it.
Let's talk about your restaurant's philosophy
Mm.
and the philosophy for food that you serve here in Shuku.
Mm.
So maybe you can break it down to both of you. One of you talking about the restaurant's philosophy, and the other person who's going to talk about the food philosophy.
I think I will talk about the fundamental groundworks and building blocks of Shuku.
Mm.
Primarily still inspired by how izakaya in a Japan city, right,
Yeah.
will perform. The culture of service in Japan is really top notch.
Correct. I think there's a
Sometimes-
very high bench to
Quite big,
like,
yeah.
it's-
Their politeness is really sky high, and we always see that as a benchmark, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So we wanted Shuku to be service front. The frontier of service had to be strong. And I think the big difference we have compared to Japan, in Japan, right, izakayas are small.
Yeah.
And they are always in counter seating style. It's not really their fault. It's building development that caused it. So a lot of shops slowly it's just straight line, right? But Singapore, we have more space. Let's say not say much more, but restaurants like us, we have tables, and Singaporeans would like to gather together to drink and eat. Yeah. So the first 6 months of opening Shuku from 2015 June was a struggle. We opened a shop with our main democrat, the people that comes to our shop that we are targeting was Japanese expats who may be working in the area. It was tough, really tough to actually give them the best because primarily neither me or Louis are Japanese also. Slowly, for some reason, I think it's just overnight. More Singaporeans like the izakaya culture, and they found our place quite memorable when it comes to service, sake selection, and the food combined. So we were actually slowly got popularized, and we got known for a package. And slowly we also embraced that as our main selling point, our soul. So that's the first part, I think. But the early days, we had to change a lot our personal mindset.
For sure.
To-
I mean,
to
it's
make the
always,
show.
it's always tweaking and like changing and improving. I think I go through that as well.
But the one thing that didn't change is actually personable service. Like my beloved staff in the shop, customers remember their names. And they will come back.
It's amazing, right?
And
Amazing.
I'm always so happy when a customer come in and, hey, where should come?
Yeah, it's a gratifying
proud of him,
feeling to have, right? Yeah,
So-
Shukan is one of your man.
Yeah, he is. He's not here
Shout
yet.
out to
Shout out.
Yeah.
Mom misses you.
Shukan. I haven't seen him in a while though.
I know.
Because I haven't been here also in a while. Yeah.
So we try to actually, and I don't think it's like fully on purpose also. It's just that how our personality designed the system of Shuku, and it just flowed that way. We are more a family-based shop, and customers felt it. And it's really important.
It's contagious, man.
Yeah.
I think
It
when-
is.
Yeah. When you guys are genuine, like I'm sure like it's just gonna attract people who come.
Yeah. One of our primary vision is to bring out the best in ourselves and each other.
Okay.
The second part is really important.
Each other.
So
Yeah,
we
each
always
other.
spend time to make sure our staff learns more and knows more customer like it's their own. That's what we do.
Right.
We can talk about the food philosophy.
Food philosophy.
But adding on a little bit to
Please.
the side, Mario's side is talking about Shuku's philosophy is that we want to create a very positive vibe. Yeah. So because like what you have mentioned that it's contagious. So if the customer dine at the place and everyone is very positive,
Correct.
when everyone is looking forward for tomorrow, is looking forward for a lot of good things to happen, and this whole community is great. So this is what we want our staff to do as well, and they love it.
I mean, I like that you guys are championing that because it's something so difficult to do in Singapore,
Yeah. And
right? And you guys
as
know
you and
that-
I know lah, if restaurants that are based on a corporate design, it's very tough for them
We
to achieve.
actually achieved some certain things that we are very proud of. Like for example, Shukang, he used to be an introvert. Yeah, and now he's like very happy talking to customer.
You guys help him build
Yeah.
confidence.
He
to
changed,
people.
he changed, and he really enjoy it.
Yeah.
You make someone's life better, then he will pass on his positive vibes to
Correct.
maybe customers or maybe other staffs, and that energy will help the whole community to grow, and that feeling is really certain things that you,
And I can totally see that you guys were actually the ones who taught him that. You guys were the role models. You guys immersed yourself in the culture, and it really influenced the team, and even down to like Shukang, right?
And I think it influenced the customers too.
Yeah.
When you
Really.
fix your problems at home,
Yeah.
and customers that do come,
Mm-hmm.
they are integrated somehow.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there are some customers that didn't like our style maybe, and they never visited for years. It's also hard to perfect the game.
You can't please everyone, right?
Yeah, correct.
It's a beautiful cycle that you
Yeah,
guys have.
I do wish to see them again.
For sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I have
Try
my own
again.
stories to tell. And your customers who
Next
left,
time.
and I boycott the Dago shop. You know what I mean?
moving on to the food side.
Yes.
Okay. When we just opened we have actually quite a bit of Japanese regulars. and they do love our food.
Yep.
But slowly, when more Singaporeans came to the restaurant,
Yep.
and also because that maybe the izakaya is a little bit big. Usually in Japan, Japanese will always like to go to very squeezy, very small type of izakaya. They feel more like home.
Yep.
Then we start to have a little bit more Singaporean customers. But talking about the food philosophy is, when we just started Shuku, we realized that a lot of Japanese restaurants are actually serving either sushi or ramen or maybe like cutlets, bento. They don't really have too much of izakaya style food that can goes well with beer, sake, or even shoju. So our philosophy is about the food and the alcohol must go together.
They are married.
Yeah, they are married.
They're
So
supposed
this
to be.
is also in Japan, sake is being made just to pair with food.
Because they have high amino acids.
So the
That's a
okay.
little technical. A little
Science part,
technical.
right?
Well, these two guys are sake sommeliers, so just so you know. But anyway, very sick. I didn't know that sakes were actually built to
Yeah.
support, like or be the complement.
In fact, talking about amino acid, that it can be found even though in MSG, which will create the savoriness.
Okay.
And a bottle of sake contains 15% more amino acid than a bottle of wine.
Yeah.
So if from the scientific point of view to talk about sake, alcohol, I think sake is one of the, I think it's the best to go with alcohol. To go with food because of the content.
the
content.
umaminess,
Yeah.
and acidity
Yeah.
level.
But there's a lot of historical turning point. The sake today is very different from like 700 AD. Yeah, because of it's always supply and demand.
Yeah.
So sake makers have been changing their recipes.
Yeah, of course.
Building forward for newer generations and
Yeah,
newer palates.
correct.
Right?
One of the turning point is actually the invention of fridge. Refrigeration option makes sake makers trying to adjust the recipe for a cold experience.
Easy to
Well, it's the
control.
same thing. I think I received the same kind of sentiments from RBLT boys when they were talking about how winemakers are also
Correct.
being pushed
Yeah.
to meet demand and
Mm.
meet palates
Yeah.
these days,
Yeah.
and like things get lost
Correct.
just in the process of changing to meet demands.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So I
but to
guess-
top up on his food stuff that we were saying, right? So actually, Japanese izakaya historically is known to be a place for very affordable drinking.
Correct.
And izakaya, after all, used to be a motel. It's an inn. And then it's like a seafood restaurant downstairs.
Yeah.
Kind of
I mean, I always
Yeah.
picture izakaya, to me at least, is like
Yeah.
like zicha shops, in Singapore. But
Ah,
it's
yeah.
a good
Actually,
selection of
very close.
alcohol,
Yeah.
which
And-
is sake and soju.
Yeah, and something that's close to heart about them, right, is actually the recipes that come out of the kitchen. They actually use very, very, could be low quality proteins, low quality meat, but with really amazing recipe of sauces, salt, and very precise skill, right, to compensate a bad quality protein and get a very nice, heartwarming food.
Yeah. So
So we believe in recipes a lot.
Mm.
Like we have a chicken liver dish. Sometimes we tell customers this is called the poor man's foie gras.
Okay.
Yeah, but it feels like it also. And we are proud of that. Yeah. And yakitori. Since you were talking about sushi ramen being
Right.
focused in Singapore, we actually, also something that Fabian taught us in our old shop, right? So yakitori is something that is close to our heart. It's bad for health, but close to heart.
So what we are proud of is we want our food to be very fresh as well. So for our yakitori, is every day like we skewer ourselves. And like every single day from the day one we open until now, every day we just skewer ourselves. Then we will cut the chicken or pork, we just skewer ourselves. We don't buy any pre-packet, come back that we can just straight away put on the grill. We don't do that because it's better that way. It's just it's better that way.
For sure, I'm sure the customers can taste the difference too.
Also, which goes down to the part that I feel that in Singapore, if your food is not good enough, even if your drinks are like high variety or really cheap, if your food is not good enough, I think people may not come back. So we hold in really, really huge principle, right, to keep our food standard high.
Then after that, we will move on slowly to design some more fusion kind of thing that like can
Like cheese.
cheese. Like it's more like you can have the East meet the West or Singaporean, also some local food that we've inspired.
And it's not so much a
New
blasphemy
dishes lah.
because in Japan, even izakayas owned by Japanese are doing cheese and all that. them.
Yep.
It's not that bad. Yeah.
So like even though talking about tsukune, which is a chicken meatball,
Yes.
it's all homemade.
Mm.
Yeah. Then we have a few homemade dishes. Even the chashu is also homemade.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have a good understanding now of the philosophy that you guys have. You guys really emphasize a lot on fresh produce and not disregarding the workload into actually delivering. So making sure that you guys do it, even though like it's monotonous day to day, you guys do the same thing just for your customers, which is great. And also you guys have a concept of maybe bringing a little bit of fusion ideas from the West on your menu. Cool, man.
If you don't mind, I share a short story. Right. I said earlier that the first 6 months of running the shop was really challenging.
Yeah.
It's quite harrowing. So Japanese customers came in out, and they do get judgmental with us Singaporeans,
And,
we don't blame them.
They don't really know how to feedback,
Yeah,
but you know it like when you don't see them again.
correct. And one of the toughest experience I have, right, when I was doing service for them, I really tried my best. The Japanese customer, before he left, he told me in Japanese, I forget what's the term, but he called me a thief of tradition.
Oh, ouch.
And I don't blame him. It's kind of true. But our path that led us where we are, we got lucky to learn all this anyway. And I think we're doing an honest business. And all the staff that work for us is doing honest work. Nothing to shame. But those are one of the challenging times for me and for us. But we love Japanese cuisine so much. And we have also met Japanese people that know less than us about the food that we do. So it feels good.
Honestly, it's a real pressure there. You know.
I would say that, okay, even though, okay, we love Japanese food, but overall it's still culinary. Yeah, we make good dishes for people. Doesn't mean that we thief of tradition or we are doing our job, and we want to bring the culture here. We want to bring the good food here. We are contributing to the
I think
whole experience.
we did a great job.
So we will just forget about these kind of comments.
You have to leave the next day. But slowly, we want to stay more traditional than fusion, for sure. We really respect all the chefs that taught us the whole culture of this. And our Japan trips, we still respect traditional izakaya than the overly modern type. As a personal choice for us.
So overall, we will not stop learning. Right? And we will go to Japan more, or even though in Singapore, we will go to different izakayas. We will try the food. We will try to understand what is the thought behind the food. Why they want to make the dish this way. Why do this dish supposed to pair with this sake or but not the other style of sake. So we need to understand. Then only when we learn more, we experience more, then we will understand more about the whole thing. Then we can actually share with our customers.
I think it's an onward battle, and the same thing I feel when we have validation from American customers who come in to tell me like, oh, you have a great bagel.
They felt great, right?
And it's as comparable as the one in Europe. I think like for me, it's really reassuring and it keeps me going. So I feel that. The same thing. If you have a Japanese who comes in and say like, someone,
it's very rewarding. Really very.
We do have a Japanese customer telling us that
it's really like you gotta give yourself a pat on the back, man, because it's not easy.
It's tough. It's really tough.
Some Japanese customer came in. He says that, oh my god, it tastes like izakaya in Japan, and we are very happy about it.
Cheers,
man.
Bye.
I think one of the hardest thing we trained ourselves, right, was to actually accept constructive feedback. Wow, it took so many years, right, to actually embrace it in a very positive attitude. Because if you don't hear bad things from people, sometimes you really probe them. Hey, how's my food? How's the drinks? How's the experience? And when they tell you the truth, right, the customers will feel closer to us. I think we've been doing that so much nowadays.
I can sense a lot of this nuances of how you guys really.
You have to lay down
your. Like the art of customer service.
Correct.
And how really important it is shaping.
Really.
The culture.
It's a very community effort. The hard part is to lay down the armor of pride. You gotta really walk through the whole thing a bit more humble about it. Never easy. Never easy.
Especially for us in F&B, man. It's a very critical ingredient.
Proud of you guys though.
You'll do proud of you guys too, man.
How many are they got? What 600 shop?
But we are very lucky that we are all doing some things that we love.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that is good enough.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
that keeps us moving and growing.
We have a secondary brand called Mirai Sake Hall.
Okay.
So it's our supply arm.
Supply arm,
Yeah.
Mirai.
Sake
Mirai Sake Hall. Mirai
Mm.
means future.
Mhm.
And also, I
Very
also
nice.
did the calligraphy for
Yeah.
it. Hey. It's called 未来 lah.
Mm.
Anyway, that brand came out about 2 years ago.
Okay.
So every time we visit Japan, we go to Japan twice a year, if not for COVID.
Mhm.
Then we'll visit sake makers.
Okay.
Particularly, our mission is to help smaller sake makers.
Mm.
That they are so small, some of them only got 5 people working a year.
Yeah.
This mission that you have is very interesting to help smaller sake.
Sake makers to,
Oh,
to
that's
actually,
really cool.
yeah, they will be long lost because sake is actually a troubled business in Japan.
Yeah.
A lot of Japanese locals are not drinking.
Mm.
So export is high. Domestically not so good.
Okay.
Yeah. So we trying to help that export. There was even like at least 2 makers that we talked to them, even though we were Singaporeans. At first, the sake maker was like not very trusting of us, lah.
Okay.
But thankfully, after a while, they felt like there's a chance for collaboration in business.
Mhm.
And we taught them how to market to us and taught them how to export to us.
But are they also
Yeah.
excited that their
They
products
are,
coming into Singapore?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Yeah, they are.
So Japan is very interesting. They would like to keep their product locally in Japan.
Domestic market. Is
Yes,
also-
very domestic market is very strong. And
So the thing I was saying difficult for him was actually doing the procurement of sake.
Right.
It's not easy when we actually order so much.
then when you go to Japan, of course, out of so many sake breweries, some of them is really good.
Wait, is this also one of the independent ones that come
Yes.
from a small brewery?
Yes.
Maybe one of you guys can introduce what we are having today.
Oh,
We met them 2 years ago. 3 years ago.
we met them 2 years ago.
And they have been growing exponentially.
Okay.
Yeah. 2 years ago, they are still small. I think now medium. I don't know.
Okay, so this particular sake is called Teme. So how does this name come from? So Teme actually in Japan it means like the first morning sun. So the first daylight.
Okay.
So they want
the break
to-
of dawn.
Yeah, the break of dawn. So basically, Suzuki-san, he took over his dad's business.
Mhm.
Then he's very young, so he also studied in Tokyo Agricultural University. That he start developing their own yeast. Then they want to make sake, a new age type of sake that is better for younger generations.
Okay.
Because sake is they call it the old man drink. It's very traditional.
Yeah.
And for centuries, sake profile has not been changing too much.
Unlike wines, right, which is like
Yeah.
new world, old world, and now you got natural and stuff.
So sake went through that in the past 100 years.
Yeah. So the taste of the sake didn't change much.
Okay.
Now
So
a lot.
now
of
a lot of new sake brewers, when they took over their father's
Right.
business or maybe take over their family business,
Yeah.
they want to break through. Yeah. So how does this label come? Of course, is the breakthrough. So they want to, and this also, when I tried this sake, I really, really love it. And of course, the name, I really love it. The story behind it, the communication between me and Suzuki-san, and his aspect of thinking about the future of sake is on the same line.
Nice.
So at Mirai Sake Hall, why it's Mirai is because we are talking about the future of our sake. The change, all these changes might happen in the future about the sake. And we are really excited about it. So we decided to bring this particular sake in.
But how would you describe the notes and the body of this?
Okay. First of all, this particular sake, it has a lot of the melon notes.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of melon notes. At the end of it, it's a little bit acidic.
Okay.
And acidic sake then can pass pretty good with izakaya food, like
Yeah.
especially yakitoris.
Anything with oil also.
How would you pair this with one of your dishes, and which dish would it be in your restaurant?
For me, if I really want to pair this dish with, I can pair with gyu ponzu.
Gyu ponzu.
Gyu ponzu basically is a beef with the ponzu sauce.
Okay.
And of course, you add in a little bit of tobiko, which you get the crunchiness of the tobiko.
Right.
And this particular sake is a muruka, so a little bit technical. Muruka,
Muruka.
you can see from these three words over there.
Okay.
Yeah, so muruka means non-filtered. This sake is not filtered. It's not filtered, that means you get more gao in Singaporean sense, the more full body.
Okay.
Then at the end of it, you get the acidity.
Right.
And the acidity, it has a little bit of sourness, it also has a little bit of bitterness. The
Mm.
bitterness comes from the umami. So a lot of people feel that, the sake tastes a little bit bitter. So that bitterness is actually the umami.
Mm.
If you let your mouth, the whole mouth feel to have that bitterness, and you just grab another, like maybe you take a piece of char siu or you take a little bit of gyu bongsu,
Yeah.
then the flavor will explode.
So it's a combination.
Yeah,
of-
it's- you have to combine.
Japanese
It's a
food
combination.
pairing is a complement technique.
Yeah.
Correct.
So you take one food that's good with the sake, you get a new flavor.
And the other thing I want to talk about is, a lot of people, I believe that a lot of people know about this place called Fukushima. So Fukushima, they had a nuclear.
Yep.
Yeah, that is so many years back already.
Yeah.
And Fukushima has really, really, really good sake. But it's just because that people feel that, oh, is it safe?
You mean like even after the nuclear activity that
Mm.
happened?
So
Yeah.
even in Japan,
Even now
it's a
it's
stigma.
suffering.
It's a stigma in Japan.
Is it because like people feel it's unsafe?
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
people feel it's
Because
unsafe.
they scared, of course, if you
Radiation.
ingest anything,
In your sake.
radiation.
We actually went to Fukushima. We spoke to a doctor. Yeah,
So,
he's a PhD. guy.
Agriculture professor.
Yeah, professor.
Yeah.
So they did testing for the water in
Damn, you guys do your
Fukushima.
homework.
The
We were lucky. We were lucky.
Right.
yeah, the soil, everything is totally 100% nuclear free.
Oh, the guy's a legend.
Yeah,
He actually saved Fukushima for
Yeah.
agriculture to resume.
correct. So basically, what happens is last time in Russia also had a nuclear explosion. So
Right.
like they dump a lot of potassium into the soil to
Mm.
neutralize it.
Mm.
So that the radiation to go through the soil.
Yeah,
Did you guys bring in any sakes from Fukushima?
that's why
Yeah, we do.
why we bring a few Fukushima sake in is because that we feel that Fukushima, they are really the gem of the sake. In local Japan, right, they have won competition consecutively for 13 years.
Sake competition.
Sake competition. Every year is Japan Shinshu competition. 13 years consecutively, all Fukushima sake.
Shit.
But the consumption is not high. They have such sake, good sake makers, but they cannot sell.
Right.
And if they cannot sell, they have to close down. It's really very sad.
Mm.
Most of the sake brewers in Fukushima, they are actually on a very big debt.
Mm.
So I went to Fukushima, the last trip.
Yeah,
we
we
went, visited about 10 sake brewers. Some of the sake brewers are so small that it's only like 2 to 3 people is working. And they want to save on the cost.
Two
So
or
we-
three people working in the brewery.
So they have to do the rice cleaning, they have to polish the rice, they have to go through the whole process, they have to do the bottling, they have to do the packing, then they have to do the load up.
Yep.
It's very, very, very tough job. Yeah. So when we went there, we tried the sake and we found a few sake that we really, really love. And we, of course, it meets the concept about Mirai Sake Hall.
Mm.
So we brought the Fukushima sake in. And we want to tell the world that Fukushima sake is great. And don't worry, it's safe and it's totally nuclear free. And talking about Fukushima sake, in New York last year, they had a Fukushima booth at Times Square. So the whole shop, all Fukushima sake. And
Sick.
if you want to search, you just search Fukushima sake New York. You have the 5-episode story just talking about the Fukushima.
There's a video. Sorry,
Yeah,
it's quite funny.
I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And
But
pretty
thanks
good,
for-
pretty good.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing about Fukushima sakes. I think like
So this is our mission. We want to make sure that all these tradition and all these
small breweries.
Yeah, small breweries.
You may help them survive.
Mm.
to shine a light on them.
Fukushima
Yeah.
brewers,
They deserve it.
That's a great mission.
Mm.
yeah, lah, they're really like samurai. They just bear with it.
Yeah, so many years.
So just last year, Singapore officially allowed all products, including fish,
Mm.
which is the most concerning thing due to the nuclear radiation.
Yes.
Even fish can be allowed. But I don't think anyone might buy yet.
Right.
Because the stigma is going to last for a long time. Yeah. Sake is definitely okay. Like the customer just let any Fukushima product pass.
But imagine Fukushima is huge.
Right.
It's very, very big. So the radius is only like that.
Yeah.
So there are actually a lot of breweries, right? It's actually very, very deep inside the mountain. Right?
Mm.
It's totally not affected at all.
Right.
But just because of the name of Fukushima, they have to suffer for 10 years.
It's unfair.
It's unfair. So even though there's a lot of risk by taking it in, but we believe that certain product needs to shine.
Mm.
Yeah, and we want to become that bridge.
I would like to ask the both of you, what do you guys do besides drinking to unwind? Go for it, man.
Actually, I feel as a team, what we've been doing recently.
Yeah.
Past 2 months, we've been running.
Running.
So after work, right?
Yeah.
the whole team.
my team. I'm so proud of them. We
The
were
team
just
runs together.
yeah, we
Yeah.
just changed, and tonight we're probably doing it anyway. We changed our shorts and we go outside, stretch up, we run to Fullerton, which is nearby,
Yeah.
come back. Actually, running in under City Line is awesome.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been
Awesome,
doing.
really
Started
awesome.
running
Twice a week.
Izakaya Club, man.
yeah,
As
Yeah.
a merch brand. I
No,
got it.
Izakaya
who knows
Night
one
Club.
day customers will drive us.
Izakaya Run Club. Yeah.
So that's one of the things we do. But the most important thing that we do in terms of like winding down from a very busy week, it's like we'll play board games together.
Yeah, board games.
Shukang is the game master. So
Yeah, we
So
when we
the
finish
whole
work, right,
crew
we'll
will
just like
play
put
together.
the table together, then we start playing board games.
It's so,
yeah, it's so powerful.
so
Yeah.
cozy and homely the way you guys describe
Yeah.
activities that you guys do. You go for runs together after work. And it's like you guys ending like late.
Yeah,
Yeah, late, really
And
late.
also now like I hear you guys are playing board games together.
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
Board games.
We're not changing anything about that.
So Maru is always involved with the whole team. But for myself, sometimes I personally need a little bit of solo time.
Yeah.
So what I do is that every year I will go to
Hiking.
hiking. Yeah,
Man.
I climb some mountains.
This guy have gone to the steamiest atmosphere you ever seen.
I would definitely love you for you to share about your
The highest I
experiences.
went to is 5,300 plus
Altitude, right?
altitude. Yeah.
So because of how difficult it is, it kind of like teaches you that life there's a lot more things besides work, and like, you seem so small, and that
Yeah.
helps you and aids you in clearing your thoughts to
Yes.
think about like how you could do better as a person, as a
Yeah.
human being, and essentially also like it relates back to what you do, like as a business owner.
Yeah. And every single time when I come back, I just feel that it's totally refreshed. Then even though I might have new ideas,
Yeah.
Working alone in the mountain, in the woods, it's very helpful for me. So every year I need to do that once.
How
to
long
find my
does
own
one,
sense.
one of this one of such trips usually take?
Minimum, if you're just talking about the hiking part,
Yeah.
minimum is 3 days.
Okay.
If you go for a longer one, it's 7 to 8 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a minimum kind of range.
Yeah. So sometimes you have
In
to
one day I'll
leave.
join.
Yeah, please call me the next time.
Not together, let's go.
The last-
When travel ban lifts, we are coming to the last part of it before we
Okay.
wrap things up. So
Sure.
on this last question, I would ask, last two questions, that I'll ask is what are some of the biggest lessons you've learned through this journey? And if you like to include past personal failures,
Mm.
like you can please include that and talk about how you overcome it.
For me, I will put it in a very short, maybe a phrase or what.
Please.
All these years, I always believe that if you are walking alone,
Yep.
you can run, you can walk very fast,
Yep.
but you can't go far. But if you are walking with a group,
You can go
maybe
far.
maybe you are walking slow,
Yeah.
but always you will feel that the people is accompanying you, and you will go further.
Kaizen, man. Kaizen.
You know, we had a rough year. Not just us, you guys also, right? The whole COVID, CB.
Yeah.
I really got to understand appreciation, and not an assumption form. It's really more verbalized and more sincere.
Yeah.
Can be a friend helping you through hard
Mm.
times. I just want to say, I think I'm starting to value, appreciate, because you know us, we might have stubborn times where you want to settle your own matters. And you might alienate friends or close ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big lesson for me that during my hard times this year, so many friends, close ones were there.
Kind of like you saw actually who really matters in your life,
Yeah, something like that.
and you're able to appreciate like the beauty of like these friendships.
Yeah.
Awesome,
And
man.
I think I could have done better to appreciate those times. But I think overall, for whoever is watching this also, like, yeah, do look beside you. Be thankful that everything is better now.
Yeah.
Even slightly. At least it's better.
I think that's my mantra too, man.
It's good.
Appreciate like the
Yeah, I'm
simplicity
so
of
happy to see you, man.
Mm.
Like,
what you have around you,
Yeah.
and that even just the ability to like be in Singapore to be safe. To be,
Yeah.
And I think that for me is a lot more. It's really enough for me
Correct,
to
correct.
do more stuff and do other things that we want to do.
Proud of you, bro.
You should appreciate every day.
Yeah,
We
I appreciate
also
you guys,
should-
man. For sure.
You too. You should celebrate every day too.
Yeah. to our budding restaurateurs to come, people out there who are aspiring to be restaurateurs and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a time where you could say, if you have any advice for them.
I definitely have a lot.
I think everyone has their own dream.
Yeah.
So just follow your dream. But once if you have decided on your dream, the only thing you need to do is just focus and move on.
Yep.
Yeah. So there's nothing to worry about.
Yep.
Just look forward and be patient and move on. Yeah. You will make it one.
I think I'm gonna say something more poignant. So there are only two types of F&B options, more or less. It's like full service restaurant and kiosk. Kiosk will be like Old Chang Kee.
Yep.
If you're gonna do a full service restaurant, location over concept.
Location over?
Concept.
Damn.
It's very dangerous. Actually both. Full service also.
Okay.
So it's poignant.
Right.
No fluffing.
Yeah, there's no fluffing, man. Yeah. The camera is here. Now is your time. Please tell the guys out there who are listening to this or who will watch this what they will anticipate to expect from you guys for the next year. Any future plan?
Our future plan now is that we are actually going digital. So we are going to have our online retail shop very soon to be up in maybe December. And we want to have, like what Mario has mentioned, that we are going to have a small sake academy soon to be up next year. So we can have introduction to sake or maybe different sake courses. And most probably it's claimable by SkillsFuture. Yeah, because currently I'm taking the course to
Yeah,
become
he's going to be an educator.
Yeah, to become a trainer. So other than that, we would like to thank all of you watching this episode.
Yeah.
And with you guys to continue support, then we will move on and we will do better.
Even if you haven't been here before or you have come here countless of times, we treat everyone the same. To those that haven't come before, welcome to the family. And to those that have been here before, why you haven't come down? Okay, I love you guys.
Yeah. Okay.
I want to take this time to thank Mario and Luis again for
Thanks.
taking their
Thanks,
time out to put in this effort to even have this conversation with me, to educate me a little bit more about sake, tell me a little bit more about what they're doing, Shuku, their love project, and also to teach me a lot about how they have been running their business, because I feel like these are all very applicable tips and advice that I feel I can use it myself. So with that said, thanks for tuning in this time again for this episode. Hope to see you in the next one. Thanks, guys.